Well, hello. My name is Bobby, aka Paginator, and I'm here today to talk to you about books about football. My students that used to be my students here now in high school, our football team is getting ready to go to state championships this weekend, and everyone's super fired up about football, so I thought I'm going to do some book recommendations about books about football. So here we go. Okay, so I have 4 books about football today, and I'm going to count these down from the number 4 up to number 1 being my favorite. So, my number 4 book is Game Changers by Mike Lupica. Now, if you don't know who Mike Lupica is, you need to. Any young adult book written about sports is probably either written by this guy or Tim Green. And they do a great job with their stories and keeping them centered around sports so that those kids that are super into sports have some fun books to read. So, for this book, Game Changers, this is the first in a series, and the second one is actually centered around basketball. So the first one's football, then we go basketball, and then so on throughout the series. This one is about a kid named Ben, and he is like the dream football player. He's the guy they count on when it's 10 seconds left on the clock and they need to make a touchdown or they're going to lose. He's that guy. But the coach, the new coach, I believe the coach is new to the town, he has a son. And if you don't know, coaches' sons get preferential treatment from time to time. Ben really wants to be the starting quarterback, but he knows that Sean, the coach's son, probably has a better shot because he's the coach's son. What he notices, though, is Sean, he looks the part of a football player, and he is big and strong, but he struggles. He hasn't got this football thing quite figured out yet. And so Ben's thinking in his mind, do I be a good teammate and help him? Or do I take my shot? What do I do here? And so Ben's really kind of struggling with what he should do in that situation. And there comes an opportunity for Ben that's unexpected, and he needs to make a choice. What do I do? Because either choice will change the game for both of these guys. I really like the story of this book, and I remember thinking that, gosh, you really need to know a lot about football to understand it because there's lots of football vocabulary in here. So if you're looking for a story about football but don't know that much, maybe pick a different one. And I think that's why this ended up being number 4 on my list rather than higher up. All right, moving right along. Number 3 book is Pop by Gordon Korman. I love Gordon Korman, and he writes super funny books, so anytime you pick up something by him, there's going to definitely be some humor in there. And to tell you a little bit about Pop, we have our main character is Marcus, and he's the new kid in town, and he really wants to try out for the football team, and he is going to go and practice as much as he can. And as he's practicing, he meets this older guy named Charlie Popovich. And at first, he just knows him by Charlie, and he's kind of this nice guy that's helping him practice, but then he realizes, hey, this guy's really good. And then he learns his last name. Charlie Popovich was a linebacker in the NFL, and he had the nickname the King of Pop. So he gets called Pop sometimes. And Marcus and Charlie really form a bond. But there's a secret about Charlie that his own family's trying to keep hidden. Well, when school starts, Marcus goes to school and he meets Troy. Troy Popovich. Yeah, he's a member of Charlie's family. And Troy and Marcus disagree about pretty much everything about football, about Troy's ex-girlfriend Alyssa, and about what should be done with Charlie. And Marcus really thinks he knows what's best for his new friend Charlie. And so there's going to be conflict there. This book is not only funny because it's by Gordon Korman, but it is emotional. It's not one that will probably make you cry, I guess possibly depending on how emotional you are as a reader. But there are some emotions involved. Oh, and I apologize for the stickers here. These are books all came out of my classroom library, and I've got labels on them so that my students don't steal them. All right. Moving up our list, we have number 2, Crash by Jerry Spinelli. So Crash, Jerry Spinelli is a very well-known author, and he wrote Maniac Magee and all kinds of other books. So definitely check him out if you are looking for a new book to read. He usually writes middle grade books, but anybody could read his. They're awesome. All right, so this is about a boy named Crash Coogan, and he is the star of the 7th grade football team. Okay, he is it when it comes to football, but he's also big and he's a bully. He and his friend Mike especially love to pick on Crash's neighbor. His name is Penn Webb, and he's kind of nerdy. He's a vegetarian and he's a cheerleader. So they love to pick on him. But some events transpire that caused Crash and Webb to get to know each other a little bit more, and Crash starts to realize, wow, this guy Webb, he's got some things that I don't have, and he's kind of a cool guy, and he starts to have this respect for him. Mike, Crash's best friend, takes a prank against Webb too far, and Crash needs to decide what side he's going to be on. Is he going to continue to be a bully, or is he going to stand up for his new friend, Webb? All right, this is a good book, not just about football, but about friendship and how to deal with bullying and what is the line between prank and bullying. And so, excellent read there. All right, now we have reached my number one book about football, which is Knights of the Hill Country by Tim Tharp. Now, I have to tell you how I got this book. My previous building principal, who has moved away to be a principal at another school, walked into my classroom one day and he put this book in my hands and he said, I just finished reading this book. It needs to be in the hands of boys in your class. Please take it home and read it and talk to the boys about this book. Now, this is a book that girls can read too, but he was especially passionate about wanting some of our boys to read this. And so I took it home and I read it that night. It was that good. I got so into the story and so invested in the main character that I just read it really fast. Now, I will say before I tell you more about this story, I do have a young adult sticker down here on the bottom. And in my classroom library, what that means is that there are some older issues. And in this one, it's particularly violence and bullying, and I believe some language as well, because of some things that happen in the story. Now, in this book, we have Hampton, and he is the star of the football team, and he is a linebacker. And on the football field, he is in control all the time. That's why he's the star. He's got it going on. He knows how to do his job, and he does it well. Okay? But at home, there's a different story. His dad's gone. His mom has this constant stream of boyfriends coming in and out of the house, and their house is kind of crap. He's embarrassed to have people over there and embarrassed for people to even know that that's the house that he lives in. So he's got these two different situations going on. Plus, there's a girl at school that he really likes, but she's kind of that quirky, smart girl at school, and that's not the kind of girl that football players are supposed to date. They're supposed to date the cheerleaders and the pretty popular girls. So he's kind of not sure what his friends are going to do when they see him liking this girl that is not the typical football player girlfriend. There is this other guy on the team, and he's supposedly Hampton's best friend. His name's Blaine. His name is Blaine. Who knows what that movie's from? Sorry, a little sidetrack there. Yeah, his name is Blaine, and he's a jerk. He was the one that got Hampton into football, and so Hampton feels like he's my true friend, he's my best friend, but Blaine is being a big, fat jerk, okay? He's getting into bullying situations with people on the team and people outside the team and stuff that are way, way, way beyond the line. All in the name of, oh, just goofing around, playful hazing. I'm sorry, that's bull crap. I have a strong opinion on this issue for many reasons, which I won't get into now. But just know that Blaine is a big jerk. And Hampton is not wanting to join into this crap that Blaine's doing, and so Blaine is questioning Hampton's loyalty and saying, no, you have to be my friend. You have to be here with me doing this stuff. And, you know, it's a lot of teenage boy drama. All right, so I don't want to tell you what all the bad things are that Blaine's doing because that's going to get into some spoilers, and I don't want to tell you exactly what Hampton decides to do about it because I don't want to spoil this story for you. You can see that this book is very well loved. It has been read many times, and it's starting to fall to pieces because it's been read by so many kids, and I recommend it every school year. It's one of the first books that I talk to kids about. I love it. Love it, love it. It's a wonderful story, not just about football, but about making choices and really about how the choices we make when we're younger can really shape the people that we become later in life. Hampton has to decide what kind of man he wants to be, and yeah, sometimes you have to make those choices in high school, or maybe even earlier. So, awesome, awesome book for people who love football, as well as just a good read. So I hope you've enjoyed my books about football, and I hope that I'll be able to do some more fun-themed book recommendation lists in the future. If you have a certain type of book that you're looking for and you're not sure what to read, feel free to comment in the space below, and I will see what I can come up with for you. All right? I make no promises because I haven't read everything in the world. That's impossible. But I'll do the best I can to give you some good recommendations. So anyway, I hope that you find a good book to read, whether it be football or not. As always, have a lovely day. Happy reading. Adios.